Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into a fascinating and honestly kind of surprising truth about your finances. You see, it turns out your financial success, well, it's actually determined way more by your mind than your math skills. I mean, think about it for a second. Why do some people earn great money but remain totally trapped in a cycle of debt, while others start with almost nothing and just steadily, quietly build up lasting wealth? We've all seen it happen, right? And it almost never makes logical sense on paper. So to figure this out, we're pulling insights from a really brilliant text called Money Psychology. It basically pulls back the curtain to show us how these hidden forces, things like your upbringing and your emotions, are actually actively writing your financial reality every single day. All right, so here's our roadmap for today. 1. Money is not just math. 2. Inherited money beliefs. 3. How emotions drive spending. 4. Scarcity versus abundance. 5. The wealth creation formula. And 6. Rewriting your money story. Let's just dive right in.
Section 1. Money is not just math. The behavioral gap.
Look, we all know we should save, budget, and invest, right? That's obvious. But the text makes this absolutely crucial distinction. Knowing what to do and actually doing it are worlds apart. Bridging that gap requires an understanding of money psychology. And that is simply the study of how your thoughts, emotions, beliefs, and behaviors ultimately dictate every single financial choice you make.
The text illustrates this perfectly with a tale of two earners. So, person A makes 300,000 naira monthly but diligently saves 20%. Person B, on the other hand, earns a massive 500,000 naira but spends absolutely every single cent. Over time, person A wins by a landslide. It is such a stark reminder that your behavior matters so much more than your actual paycheck.
Moving on to Section 2, your inherited money beliefs, the root causes. It is just fascinating to realize exactly how early our financial scripts are written. We absorb these beliefs from our parents and society way before we ever earn our first dime. I mean, if you grew up hearing things like wealth is not for people like us or money is evil, those ideas take root deep in your subconscious. But the good news? You can totally replace them. Swapping out a limiting belief for an empowering one, like wealth can be built through knowledge or money is just a tool, is the absolutely critical first step to true financial transformation.
Okay, Section 3, how emotions drive our spending, the hidden triggers. We really love to think we buy things logically, don't we? But human emotions are constantly hijacking our plans. Just think about that instant dopamine hit of a stress purchase after a really hard day. I know we've all been guilty of the midnight online shopping cart. Then there's the incredibly subtle advertising effect, where companies aren't just selling you a product, they're selling happiness. And man, you really have to beware of lifestyle inflation. When you get a raise and suddenly your taste in coffee and cars gets mysteriously a lot more expensive.
Now, because life is super unpredictable, financial emergencies can trigger some intense emotional panic. So to protect yourself, the source strongly suggests building an emergency fund covering 3 to 6 months of expenses. Because when you do this, you aren't just hoarding cash, you are literally buying yourself peace of mind. You're ensuring that a sudden medical bill or an unexpected job loss is just an annoying inconvenience, not an absolute, complete disaster.
That brings us to Section 4, scarcity versus abundance mindset. Shifting your perspective.
This whole concept basically boils down to a really fascinating contrast in how we view the world. A scarcity mindset that traps you in a cycle of fear. It constantly whispers that there's never enough, and that someone else's success means fewer chances for you. But an abundance mindset completely empowers you. It's the core belief that opportunities can be created from scratch, and that new skills can always be learned. I mean, imagine two people losing their jobs. The scarcity thinker sees the end of the road, right? But the abundance thinker sees a completely blank canvas to start a business or finally learn that high-income skill. And this mindset directly impacts exactly how you view risk. People trapped in scarcity let the pure fear of losing money stop them from ever investing. But here is a massive catch that the text brought to my attention. Avoiding risk completely actually creates a hidden, absolutely guaranteed risk. Because if you just sit there and do nothing, your money is silently eaten away by inflation every single year. So in reality, playing it completely safe is actually the biggest financial risk of all.
All right, Section 5, the wealth creation formula, turning mindset into action.
Listen, never, ever underestimate the power of small numbers.
The text highlights this beautifully simple truth. If you automatically save just 1,000 naira a single day, that translates to roughly 365,000 naira a year. Wealth isn't usually built by some massive, lucky windfall. It's really about tiny, relentless consistency.
And to actually make that consistency happen, you've got to automate it using what's called the habit loop. You have to make it totally mindless. So the trigger is your salary hitting your account. The action is instantly moving 10% straight into savings, paying yourself first. And the reward, that's watching yourself get closer and closer to total financial freedom.
Now, conversely, you can actually use this exact same loop to break your bad habits too. So if you're someone who stress spends, first identify that stress as your trigger. Then, consciously replace that behavior of online shopping with something completely free. Go for a walk, call a friend, or, just read a book. You still get that psychological reward of feeling better, but your bank account stays completely protected. When you really boil it all down, the actual math of wealth creation is remarkably simple. It's just income minus expenses equals savings. And then savings plus time plus investment growth equals wealth. That's it. But actually executing this formula, that requires the profound psychological discipline of delayed gratification. It means actively choosing a massive future reward over some fleeting, immediate pleasure today.
Finally, Section 6, Rewriting Your Money Story, Your Next Steps.
It's time to stop seeing yourself as someone who just naturally struggles with money and really step into the identity of a true wealth builder. So here is your concrete action plan directly from the text. First, identify 3 harmful beliefs that you need to abandon. Second, choose 3 positive habits to build. Third, set 3 specific goals for the year. And right now, today, I want you to choose just one single action you are going to take this week.
I want to leave you with this incredibly powerful thought from the text. Wealth is not built overnight. It is built one decision at a time. Your money story is definitely not finished yet. The pen is still very much in your hand. So, based on absolutely everything we've explored today, what decision are you going to make right now?